You're here because you want to get to the heart of things, understand the important stuff quickly. So let's try this. Imagine rain,
Okay.
but not just, a shower or a storm, not even a monsoon season. Picture rain,
Yeah.
uh, nonstop
hmm
for 2 million years.
So that sounds completely outlandish, doesn't it? But yeah, the geological record points to something very much like that. Happened about 232 million years ago.
During the Triassic period.
Exactly. It's got a name, the Carnian pluvial episode. Pluvial meaning related to rain.
Right, 2 million years of rain. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this crazy weather event and look at the consequences, which are, well, pretty surprising.
Yeah, they really are. We've been looking at evidence locked in ancient rocks, basically trying to piece together this global story.
Okay, let's dive in. What are we actually seeing in the rocks? What's the concrete evidence for?
Well, endless rain.
Well, the clues are surprisingly consistent, geographically speaking. You look at rocks from that period in Italy, over in China, even South America.
And you see layers with clear signs of soil that was just constantly waterlogged. Saturated, think permanent swamp-like conditions over vast areas.
So parts of the Earth were just perpetually muddy for millennia.
That seems to be the picture, yeah. And it's not just the soil structure. We also find specific changes in oxygen isotopes.
Isotopes, right, different versions of oxygen atoms.
Exactly. Their ratio in minerals that formed back then tells us about the environment. And these ratios point pretty strongly towards a much, much wetter atmosphere globally. More moisture in the air.
Okay, so soggy ground everywhere, super high humidity. Yeah, that paints a picture of constant heavy rainfall. It fits. But what could possibly cause that on such a massive, long-lasting scale?
The leading idea, the main scientific theory, points to volcanoes, massive, massive volcanic eruptions.
Right, this is when Pangaea existed, the supercontinent.
That's the one. Imagine enormous volcanic regions on Pangaea just pumping out gases relentlessly. We're talking huge amounts of carbon dioxide and also water vapor straight into the atmosphere.
So like a planetary volcanic event that
Yeah.
just didn't stop.
Sort of, yeah. A very prolonged period of intense activity. All that CO2 creates a powerful greenhouse effect, right? Warms the planet.
Which means more evaporation from the oceans.
Exactly. More water vapor goes up, the atmosphere gets saturated with moisture, and then it has to come down as rain, persistently, for a very, very long time.
Wow. A runaway wet greenhouse effect, kind of.
That's a good way to put it. Now, this intense, prolonged rain obviously would have had a huge impact.
Devastating, you think, for life at the
Oh,
time.
absolutely. It caused major environmental shifts, major disruptions, definitely led to extinctions for some groups that were around then.
Okay, that makes sense. Mass extinctions often follow big environmental changes.
But here's the twist, the really interesting part. This incredibly wet period. It might actually have been a key moment for the rise of the dinosaurs.
Wait, hang on. 2 million years of rain helped dinosaurs. That sounds completely backwards.
It does seem weird, doesn't it? But think ecologically. Constant wetness changes vegetation, right? Maybe it favored plants that early dinosaurs or their ancestors could eat.
Okay. New food sources.
And crucially, the extinctions we mentioned, they cleared out ecological space, niches opened up,
So is some dominant species gone?
it created opportunities. For other groups, maybe ones that were better adapted to these new, wetter conditions to diversify and expand, and among those groups were the early dinosaurs, or their direct ancestors.
So this mega monsoon acted like hitting a reset button on evolution. Wiped out some established players and gave these other creatures, the ones that led to dinosaurs, their big chance.
That's the compelling idea, yes.
Yeah.
A seemingly catastrophic, destructive event might have inadvertently paved the way for the next dominant group on the planet. It's quite an aha moment when you connect those dots.
Yeah, definitely. It really reframes how you think about, well, disasters.
It does, and it kind of brings us to a broader perspective, maybe relevant even now. We tend to view major disruptions, crises or catastrophes, as purely negative, understandably.
Sure.
But the Carnian pluvial episode is a planetary scale example suggesting that sometimes even really extreme damaging events can, in the very long run, become catalysts for profound change and, well, new beginnings. Unexpected ones.
So wrapping this up, the key takeaway is that this almost unbelievable 2 million year rainstorm wasn't just a weird weather event. It was likely a crucial factor in the rise of the dinosaurs.
Precisely. It reshuffled the ecological deck, you could say.
And maybe a final thought for you listening. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How events we see as purely negative or overwhelming today might, from a much longer perspective, be triggering transformations we just can't foresee right now, even on a huge scale.
It's definitely food for thought. History, even Earth's deep history, is full of surprises.